Welcome to the Spark It podcast, where we bring you inspiring conversations that actually spark your interest to do more. And I'm your host, Helen Kimaru, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by an incredible leader. Now, someone I have known for over 10 years actually. She's a senior program and HR manager for a nonprofit. And for the last decade, Naom has been at the forefront of championing women and girls empowerment in the various roles she's held in the places she has worked. She also has a CBO. It's called Quasar Health Initiative, and she's also helping her community and especially people who come from vulnerable backgrounds with her initiative. It's truly amazing to see young people making an impact in their communities. So today we are going to take a deep dive into her leadership journey and also her work with women, her community, and also what motivates her as a young leader. So now, welcome to the Spark It podcast.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm excited honestly to host you. Thank you for making the time, and I look forward to, having a candid conversation with everyone.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, honestly, for making the time. So, before we even take a deep dive into your sort of leadership journey, could you probably tell us how it has always looked like from sort of a young age? And, just give us sort of like a beginning, how it started.
For a focus on my leadership journey.
Yes.
It has. It started way back before I even knew what leadership is.
Mm-hmm.
From childhood, as a firstborn child, I had no option but to lead my
Mm-hmm.
family. And wherever I found myself at church, at school, I was always leading, not as a leader, but the child who takes initiative to organize other kids to do things or get things done. More about how I was raised by my parents, my father being the most pillar, or rather the person who wanted me to be a leader or led me to be a leader. And growing up from primary school, being elected as a leader, uh, in the libraries, head girl, name it, all
Nice.
that. And then coming to high school, still in leadership, to college, all the way. I think as long as I can remember, I've always been a leader. That's all I know. Like,
Wow. It's like you are always that kid who takes initiative.
yes. And
Wow.
it's natural for me. I can say it's been natural for me.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that I have worked with you at some point in my life, I do know for sure.
Thank you.
You're always on top of things, honestly, and that's a really amazing thing. So, how did, say, for example, those formative moments for shape like your sense of purpose and drive from when you were a kid and to now that you've told us about all the roles you've been or all the places you've been able to occupy like leadership positions, how did that look like? How did that shape your sense of purpose and drive?
Uh, Actually, it's the motivation that I get from the results of the more of the leadership uh, instances that I take. So, for instance, if you are leading a team and you achieve a result or there is some form of impact, it gives you motivation to continue. And then leading in initiatives that talk to your soul is what has led me to like find my purpose and fuel it even further.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, at what point did you feel like now I was just born to be a leader? Because you've always been a leader, but at what point did it click for you that this is what I was called to do?
I think I would say in my 20s.
Oh, wow.
In my 20s, which came with a sense of realization and learning more about myself and understanding that what I was doing was not just it was not just, what can I say, a responsibility. It's more of a calling.
Nice.
Yeah, it's more of a calling. So in my 20s, when I was a volunteer with Kenya Red Cross Society in in Nakuru,
Mm-hmm.
Nakuru County,
Mm-hmm.
and it was not being paid. It's not a paid position. It was a totally voluntary activity.
Mm-hmm.
I connected with people. I could see impact, like leading other volunteers, going around helping victims of accidents, and reaching out to communities, finding out their needs. We did summer needs assessment, like what the communities needed, and compiling a report, presenting it, and
Mm-hmm.
then in the process of presenting those, I was able to make connections with people. Some of those people became mentors, others lifelong friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I was seeing like this
Mm-hmm.
kind of work that I was doing
Mm-hmm.
was actually creating impact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Oh wow.
So I thought like I have to, like, whatever I
Uh-huh.
do, it's
Uh-huh.
impacting somebody's.
Uh-huh.
It may seem small,
Mm-hmm.
but in the long run,
Mm-hmm.
it's impacting somebody in a big way.
Wow.
For you it could be small, but for the
Mm-hmm.
people
Mm-hmm.
who are being impacted by your initiatives or your
Mm-hmm.
leadership,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lifelong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you also talked about the fact that it's voluntary. It's not like somebody's
Yeah, it's
paying you.
voluntary. So
So it kind of gives you like a more bigger sense of purpose.
yes, yes.
Wow, that's amazing. So how do you think like maybe your leadership has evolved over the years in the different initiatives you've been entangled in, whether it's you coming up with a CBO or you volunteering at the Red Cross or the work you actually do? How has that evolved in terms of your leadership style?
It it's the lessons. It's the lessons that I've learned and picked along the way. So when I was starting out, when I was a bit younger, um, I used to think that I should have all the answers.
Don't we all?
I used to think that I have to have all the answers, solve every problem that comes. But as I've grown, that has changed.
Okay.
In that, I've learned to listen, ask the right questions, and act on the, like, at the moment or in the moment, like, solve, like, help others solve, because the people we lead, in most cases, they're not people who don't know what they're doing,
Yeah.
or people who don't bring value. They are people who, in most cases, they need you to clear the path for them to see the way forward, and they will come up with solutions that you would not even have thought about. So they make it a bit easier. So influencing people. So I've just come to learn about that.
Okay. Do you think like you taking up a HR, because of course initially that's not what you did, you pursued in college as your first degree, but do you think like taking up a HR course and getting certified also kind of contributes to now how your leadership style has evolved over the years?
Yes, it has. I don't know whether to say HR found me or I found HR.
Interesting. Okay.
So human resources. How did I come into it? I had a different perspective of what HR meant until I found out that it's all about leadership
Okay.
and helping people to achieve their goals as well as the organization's goals. So when I started out, I can give a small background. Is
Yeah,
that
sure.
okay?
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
my background, my degree is in public health, and after public health, I came to pursue programs or program management, where I started out from internship and growing into like running programs that create impact for women and girls, which is a part of the passion that is burning in my heart. And I found that I was always leading people. So for programs to run, you have to manage people. Yeah, or lead people. So as I was leading people, I came to realize that I needed additional skills, which I had to go back to school for further studies and pursued a master's in business administration, um, concentration of strategic management,
Okay.
which is more of human resources.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so gaining those extra skills from the classroom and led me to like grow in my leadership in human resources, and I decided to certify my skills. So me getting a certification in human resources does not mean like that is what me a HR manager. It was just certifying the skills that I had already
Yeah.
acquired over the 10 years for
Wow.
credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Interesting. Ish. Okay. Look at you. So for example, now that you work as a senior program manager and also a HR manager, how do you sort of like blend strategy with empathy, and what does sort of like a typical day look like for you in your role?
Okay, in human resources or in running programs, there is no single day that looks like the other. Like
Oh.
these are so different. You solve different problems. You wake up, you're working on a policy that impacts people. The next day, you're talking about um, interacting with people, helping people, like solve an issue, conflicts. Like there's so many things, so many different things that blend into running programs and strategy. So for me, what I do is I always try to to dedicate specific times to solve given issues. Like I have said, like on Mondays I have strategy Mondays, so I'm thinking about strategy. Yes, I'll solve the in the moment uh, issues that come up.
Yeah.
But then I know at the back of the mind, I have to look at the policies, improve them, revise where they need to be, there needs to be revision, and reach out to the other people to see what they think about it. Um, I think to blend that, you just have to be intentional, but also be flexible.
Okay.
So flexibility is what fuels the day, or
Wow.
most days, because you wake up to totally different challenges every day.
Wow. And also like the kind of work you do, it's always about meeting people at their level of need. Whether it's when you're working with women and girls or trying to solve a problem. Like off camera, we had talked about you, like you had this feeding program for street kids with Kweza Health Initiative, yeah. It seems like you have sort of found your purpose in that line of work, like trying to solve a problem, and especially for like the most vulnerable in the world. So how does your work align with your deeper purpose and the change you hope to see in the world?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a very deep question.
I know.
The purpose. I find it easy working on something that connects to your soul. And what I have grown up wishing or trying to see is to see a better world for majority of the people. Of course, you want to change the world, but you may not be able to change the world alone. So you will try to do your small thing, like your little thing,
Yeah.
that together with what other people are putting up in the effort, you will see a change. So I put energy where it matters most to me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I try every single day, like, to prioritize things that are speaking to my soul. I don't just do anything or pick up any project. I'm intentional about the project that I can pick.
Wow.
The ones I can't, I can step behind. I'm heavily involved in community work,
Yeah.
and of, like, not just my job, with the community organization that I run, with a lot of chamas, with women and young people.
Yeah.
uh, I volunteer in the church level. It's all about what matters to me. Like, where do I want to create the impact? In most cases, it's in women and girls. It's in the vulnerable, kids with special needs,
Wow.
kids on the streets, and in health. I just have to mention health because I'm very passionate about health. Yeah,
Yeah.
and in health. So
Oh wow.
most of my programs, or wherever my leadership is around that, empowering women, empowering young people, helping the needy, those in the streets. Yeah,
I
and
like
creating impact in the health sector.
Yeah, I like the way you said, like for you, you try to look for something that speaks to your soul, and that's where you put like your time and effort. Because I feel like a lot of people out here, sometimes we struggle and we end up like doing too much, or you are trying to do so many things at the same time, yet you don't achieve sort of anything because your efforts are all over. They're like sort of scattered. But that's like sort of, I think, like a really good lesson, honestly, for our listeners. Oh wow! So because for me, like I usually say, change a little corner of your world. That's like my mantra.
Yeah.
So for me, I think your story sort of speaks to me, because even for me, when I'm thinking about what next to do, I'm trying to, you know, small efforts with small groups, but big impact,
Yeah.
instead of putting effort in a lot of, other things. So because you've done a lot of things, honestly, and especially working with communities, is there like a story or a moment that stands out for you, when you, maybe whatever you have done, created like really impact, and you're like, wow, this is real change, I have done something amazing for somebody?
Yeah, a lot. So you told me a little back. So I think I've been chasing impact more than titles.
Wow. Ish.
I can the reason why I do so many things is because I try to say like what sort of impact am I creating with whatever I'm doing. So for instance, it's not I'm not the senior program, you're calling me the senior program manager. I always forget about that.
Interesting.
You're not looking at what title do you have.
Ah.
It is what am I doing. Like today I am helping this little girl, like I'm mentoring them so that at least they can see a way forward. For instance, I can pick one story. You've said I pick one story. Like I helped a young girl apply for university course. She totally didn't know what she wanted because her marks didn't match what she had wanted before. So I helped her to choose a career. She went ahead. She did her college, and then after college she got a job, and she came back to say thank you, and I was like, wow. I thought it was just
It's just
it was
normal,
like just
everyday
normal,
life.
like helping you fill out and select a course, and then you go your way, you work hard, and then when you come back you're like, actually you helped me, you pointed me to the right direction.
Wow.
And I was like, oh wow.
Wow.
I do that often, but I don't see it as a big deal.
Ah.
Yeah. Small things.
I think you have normalized it.
I think, yeah, I can say
Yes,
that.
you have normalized it. That's why you don't see it as a big deal. Oma, it has sort of become a lot as part of your work, so you don't see it that way.
Part of my everyday life. It's not
Ah,
work.
oh, part of it. Okay, maybe I think I'm giving you unsolicited advice. Maybe you should start taking stock, like journal, and you're like, today I did this amazing thing for this person. I think sometimes when you look at when you take stock of stuff like that and you look back, it kind of even gives you more motivation to do those things that you desire and
Yeah,
are
sure.
passionate about.
I think I should. I was keeping stock at some point, and writing all the stories, and it was like an every day, every other week. Like when you, okay, when I was a girl guide, I learned something. I learned something in high school, where you say do a good turn every day.
Oh.
Like, what is your good turn? So did you make somebody smile, something as small as that? And you journal that down. So every day we used to look up, like, I gave somebody a gift, I listened to somebody's story. So I picked it from there, and I used to journal a lot about what I'm doing to others. But over time I lapsed. I started
I became busy.
I became busier, so I no longer do tech stock, but I know the impact lives on. Like I leave fingerprints or footprints on
Oh.
people's hearts rather
That's
than on
nice.
papers.
Ah.
Yeah.
No, that's nice. But the reason why I think it's kind of sometimes good to take stock, I feel like I've been in a space where sometimes you do great things, even on a personal level, even if it's not for other people.
Yeah.
But I don't think we take enough time to kind of give ourselves a pat on the back, to say like, yeah, I did an amazing thing here. So sometimes
Yeah.
even, because I kind of feel like it's nice, kind of keeps you grounded and motivated.
Women are fond of that.
Tell us more.
As women, we don't like to blow our trumpets.
Oh my god. And the way men do.
You do so many things
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want to be appreciated
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
that, or to be
Mm-hmm.
seen like you did it.
Mm.
And it's easy for other people to take credit
Mm-hmm.
for your work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would make use of highlighting more of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I know I do a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't talk about it often.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, from a HR perspective, now that you're still in HR, how do you think that sort of, in the context of the way you've said women, we lay low even
Yeah.
when we have achieved so much?
Yeah.
How do you think that sort of affects women, and what can we do better so that people don't sort of like take credit of our work? We occupy spaces in the way we should, and something like that.
I would answer that by giving a personal story. I think what I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
currently is
Mm-hmm.
I'm creating my portfolio
Mm-hmm.
uh, of things that I can show the world of what I've been working on. And this is with the help of a career coach.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how much I did until I spoke to my career coach and they were asking me questions.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was responding, they're all the time like, wow, wow. Even at the point where I don't see where
You
the
are wondering where the war is coming from. Sorry.
I was like,
Uh-huh.
okay,
Uh-huh.
okay, then I need to tell that story. I need to
Mm-hmm.
tell that story.
Mm-hmm.
So I've come to learn that creating a portfolio
Mm-hmm.
would really, really go a long way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
take all the volunteer opportunities that you've had, the impact you've created through them, the work you do, not the title of
Mm-hmm.
what you did, but what through that position that you were in, what did you achieve? Telling those stories, having testimonials,
Mm-hmm.
and sharing this out to the world.
Mm-hmm.
When I do interviews with people,
Mm-hmm.
of course, there's something that you look out for. It's not like I've been a manager here, I've been a manager there. It's about their personality, and what people have been able to achieve is what we are hiring. So whenever you're making a decision as a human resource manager or as a manager elsewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and you're hiring, you would look at what profile people have. Yeah, so I would advise people, just the way I'm working on my portfolio
Mm-hmm.
that I would be sharing out,
Uh-huh.
also work on your portfolio that you can be sharing out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's actually a really good tip. Put yourself out there, whether,
Yeah.
and also use like social media platforms
Yeah.
to put out your work. Let the world know.
Yeah, true, true, true.
Because as you said, I think like in recent times, even when people are also trying to hire, they even go like take a background check on your social media.
Definitely, we do that, yes.
Now, yeah. So everybody, if you curate
We do
like a
that.
good, uh-huh.
Yeah, so you can even go online and search your name and see what comes up, and know that that is what people will see when they're
Wow.
hiring, because you can be a very good candidate, and when people search you online, they find negative information about you. So what would they do? They would make
Yeah.
a decision based on that. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Wow. Yeah, I think people who are listening to us right now, you've been given your HR tips from the HR herself. So please build on your portfolio and, project a good image online too, because they still look at that when they're hiring you. So the kind of work you do requires like you to have a lot of passion and be very like so resilient. So what keeps your spark alive year after year now that you have been in this space for like more than a decade?
Oh, that's a good one. What keeps my spark?
Yes.
It's seeing results, seeing impact, however small, is what keeps me going. For instance, where I've worked most of my life is impacting girls and women. That's like my everyday job. And my job does not involve just the vulnerable women and girls. No, it also involves professionals who are working with them, ensuring as a human resource manager, ensuring that the people who are taking care of the vulnerable are well taken care of, ensuring that they have the bandwidth for them to and emotional resilience for them to be able to serve humanity. So that keeps me alive, because whatever I'm doing is meaningful work. It's not just any other job. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh wow. Wow. So, do you have like any specific routines or practices that that help you stay grounded as a leader? Something like either you practiced over the years, you know. Do you have like a ritual?
Mm. It's not really a ritual, but of course I think it's important for me to mention that I work from home, and for
Wow.
the past 11 years I've been working from home remotely.
Before
So
remote
before
work became
COVID,
a thing.
before COVID, I was working from home,
Wow.
and for me to successfully work for all those years remotely, it means I have to get a routine. I have to set boundaries. Like, people have to know you're working. So what I do, I treat this as a usual job. So I wake up in the morning, I prepare myself after, of course, preparing the family. I have a
Yeah.
family.
Yes, we forgot to
So
say, but yes, she's a
yeah,
mom.
yeah. So after family routine, so the next thing is getting ready for work. So I do my meditation, I do my morning affirmations, then I prepare myself and get to my home office. And the first thing I do is read at least a chapter. It doesn't have to be a chapter of a book. It can be a blog. So I read something and then get into work.
Wow. Hey, you are very disciplined. So, do you have like a specific workstation at home?
Yes, I have an office.
Hey, okay.
I have an home office, because uh, there is no way you can grow without like having a structure. And it's also for your health.
Yeah.
You need like a chair that is good for you to work, and a desk, internet, a laptop. So yeah, I just have to go and work from my office. And in some instances, when I don't have, say, meetings, I work from outside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Reconnect with nature.
Yes.
So, what has sort of been like one of the biggest challenges you faced in your journey, whether it's from working from home or doing like the kind of work you do, you know?
Biggest challenges working from home.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been more of convenience than challenges,
Oh,
because
wow.
um at the beginning, that's when I had a challenge where I did not know how to set boundaries, and maybe family, relatives, and friends could not understand that you're working. So they would expect, because you're home all the time, you can catch up, they can send you for errands. Yeah, they still do, but now I have boundaries. I'm able to say no, I am busy at work. But at the beginning it was a challenge, but over time I balanced that out, and I'm able to like set my working hours. And yeah, still, yeah, there is flexibility, but still, like, I'm able to tell people, no, this is my working hours, we cannot have a catch up, or you can't send me for an errand, or yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think to achieve such a balance, especially with also being like a mom and all that, I think it's a lot of work. And also the fact that for a while people had not understood like you can work from home.
Yeah.
It I've been in those spaces actually, even with my family. At some point, I feel like there's a time when people had that expectation of if we call, she
Yeah.
will be available, she'll answer. But so I was saying, like for me also, I've gone through some of the challenges working from home. Like I have had times when my family calls, they think that for me I'll be available, and then they'll be like, oh, my one of my sisters has a business, so for her permanently, you don't expect her to show up for some things.
Yeah. But for
She's busy, but for me I don't look as busy.
busy. You're always on your laptop and
Yeah,
phone.
like you sound like as if you're flexible. I think
Yeah.
at some point people didn't used to take working from home that seriously,
Yeah.
which is why what you said in terms of boundaries is kind of very important.
Yeah, and also not only that, but balancing your mental health and general well-being with working from home. Um, some of the things that I used to struggle in there is working long hours without a break, because when you sit down and work is flowing, there's always work. There is a thing that I usually say, like, you cannot finish work. You are the one who can be finished.
No,
You
it's
can't get
true.
finished. You can't finish work. So if you don't know at what time you should log out, then you would be jeopardizing your health. Yeah. So I think that's one of the challenges that I had to solve before I could get into like a good routine. Yeah.
Wow. That makes a lot of sense, honestly. At work will kill you before you you ever finish it.
Yeah.
No, but it is actually true. You have to find a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, being a workaholic. Kwanza working from home can make you a workaholic.
It can. You can sit from the morning to the evening, and also you are not okay. You're connecting with your colleagues online, but you're not seeing each other, so you can feel isolated as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you could be like, you're working from morning to evening. You don't have people to talk to. Like the chit chat about lunch break or tea break. You don't have that at home. So unless you're very intentional about it,
Yeah.
you can get burnt out.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what has sort of been also your biggest challenge with now the specific work you do, whether it's working with women and girls or having your CBO?
I know there are always challenges. So one challenge that comes to my mind is, at a certain point I wanted to partner with the government, with my community based organization, and there is always someone somewhere who is blocking. There are politics ongoing. There are expectations out of this world, because most of the time or I am very passionate about my organization, and I will put my resources into it. There are not a lot of resources, but when you go into offices, you want to partner, you want to let them know what you're doing, they would expect you to give money, give bribes, bribe the chief for them to allow you to work in their communities, give some funds to government officers for them to allow you to even participate with the communities. So I think that was one of the challenges that I have faced before. And it takes a lot of networking and buying people for them to you're buying
Human capital.
for them to support you. Yeah, and to understand that whatever you're doing is out of passion. It's like you have a lot of resources, that's why you are doing it.
Yeah.
You are going out to help heal jiggers. So why do you want to do that? And why would someone want you to bribe them for them to allow you to go into the community to help these vulnerable people?
Yeah.
Why?
Wow.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. So how has that sort of challenged your perspective about everything, whether in a professional way or on a personal level?
I've come to learn that I need to be supportive of people and their initiatives. Through lack of support, you learn to support others.
Yeah.
Because if I have faced this challenge, it means somebody else out there is facing a similar challenge, and I wouldn't want to make it hard for them the way it was hard for me. So if I'm in a position to help someone, I will just help and move on.
Eish,
Yeah.
good lesson. Oh wow. So are there any lessons you've learned along the way that have sort of become like a big turning point in your life?
A lot of lessons. Every day is a learning day. Like there's always a lesson to learn every single day. But one that has stuck out is I should not try to be a perfectionist, because I learned that perfectionism, is there such a word?
I think so, yeah.
But when you're seeking perfection, you're prone to deter progress. There is a lot, you procrastinate a lot, so you don't achieve much because you're waiting for the perfect time when you will have everything all together and for you to move forward. So that's one of the lessons that I've learned, that I should not try to be a perfectionist. I'm still working on it though, because
It's not easy to let
it's
go.
not easy to let go, because I've been used to this kind of culture where I have to put everything in order. But I've learned that in such a way, some things I've had to lag behind because I couldn't do it because I wanted to be perfect. Yeah,
Wow. So it kind of holds you back.
it does.
I,
It
I
does.
want to say I relate. It looks like I'm it looks like I'm relating to so many things because I can't tell you. I was seeing some TikTok video. Somebody was trying to say that perfectionism, it could be a trauma response. I don't know whether that's
It
true.
definitely could be.
I think I need to look into it.
It definitely could be, yeah.
Yeah, that one. Hey, it's not an easy one to navigate. I've tried it, but hey, even me, I'm healing.
You, you have to be intentional.
Yeah.
And I think this year has been a turning point also for me in many ways, because I've come to learn more about myself,
Okay.
listen more to my inner self, and be intentional about my response to what I hear. Because I've always it's like been a constant war. Like I just have to have a perfect picture
Yeah.
all the time, having everything all together all the time. And in that case, in even in work, you don't often delegate. But how can you do everything possibly, and
Yeah.
you're human? So I've learned to be human. Yeah, I can allow myself to make mistakes, and I can move on and forgive myself if I make a mistake. Before I couldn't. I could, if I made a mistake, I could hold it against myself forever.
You're like, no, it can't be me. Why? Why?
Why? Yeah, why?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you kind of hold yourself to the biggest or to the highest of standards.
Yeah.
If it's not this way, it's not good enough.
How can I?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
How could I?
Yeah.
How do you miss something?
And I see now what you're saying in the context of also delegating, because if you're a perfectionist, the reason why you won't delegate is because you're
You're
thinking
thinking they
this person
wouldn't
will
do
not,
it as good as
yeah, as
you
good
could.
as you could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you hold it, so the other person would not have work to do. So you will be doing it all yourself by yourself. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. And especially working with people means you have to give them space also.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
But I'm not a micromanager. I have a disclaimer. That one I'm not, because I wouldn't make it, because I don't think micromanagers are good people managers.
That's true. Yeah. Wow.
You hold them back. So it's been hard for me to delegate, but when I do, I truly do. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And in your line of work, delegating is very important.
It is.
Wow. So in your view, for example, what does true empowerment for women and girls look like, especially now that you've worked in that field for a while?
Okay. So, true empowerment for girls and women, for me, it means like girls are given the power to dream. They know they are allowed to dream, and they can dream and chase their dreams. They are able to make decisions. They're not held back by anything or anyone or anybody. That's what true empowerment means for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the reason why you've sort of occupied space and leadership positions all the way from when you were young. It's like it was just there for you.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a personality, but when people can identify a trait in you, they will let you lead.
Yeah.
And you also have to let yourself to be trusted. So if you're not trusted, then you cannot lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So, what are the biggest gaps you still see in global efforts toward gender equality?
Okay. Gender equality
Yeah.
and the gaps.
Yes.
So what I think the biggest gap is involvement, because you would find that people who are in the decision making desks or the policy makers, there are people who may not relate very well to every woman. So there is a representation but not enough.
Okay.
So that's a big gap, because you will be talking about women in the village, but the people who are talking about the women in the village and the opportunities are men in the urban setup. So how does a man in a well-off family or in an urban setup make decisions about a woman in the village?
Wow.
They can't relate.
They can't, for sure.
Yeah, so they would try. You would even get women from well-privileged backgrounds, but they're not the representation of those, like every other woman. So I think representation is an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in short, to close the gap, we need to the people you are representing need to be present
They need to be
at the
present,
table,
yeah.
so that whatever decisions that are made,
They have a
involved.
say,
Yeah.
and they can say actually what they do need.
I think that makes a lot of sense, because I feel like also now, especially in the non-profit sector, I think also in the context of just generally, people miss out a lot on how to even address issues at the community level or in the last mile, because you don't necessarily involve the people at the last mile.
Yeah. So what happens, or what has happened, is people coming up with solutions to problems, what they think would work, without involving the people. So when you go to the community to implement, they will be looking at you like, oh, you brought that's what you think we need, but it's not what we actually need. So they will not take ownership of that. So you would live there without a big impact.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true.
Or rather, you would create an impact that is not meaningful to them. Yeah.
When you could have done so much by just giving
Listening
people.
and involving them,
Yeah.
like asking them, what do you need? You can come with a water project to an area, and for them, their need is just food.
Yeah.
They're like,
So-
oh, they've brought water, but they will not even go to that well of yours. They will still go to the stream far away to get their water,
Yeah.
because for them, what was important at that time was food,
They needed food.
or they needed like access to healthcare,
Wow.
and you're giving something else.
Yeah. So people need to listen and include them.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So now that you've worked in the non-profit sector for the longest, literally, so for somebody who is just getting started or in that sort of sector, whether it's in the non-profit or social impact, now that you've also been running Kweza Health Initiative, so what's that one piece of advice you give somebody who somebody or something you would wish somebody had told you at the very beginning when you started doing these things?
I would say pace yourself. Take it slow. Take a rest when you need to. So you don't need to go at a high speed. You can say supersonic speed. You don't need that. So just take time. And always, I think I've mentioned this before, like don't chase titles.
Yes.
Look at impact, because it's all about impact. Yeah. So look at what is your work bringing, like what is the fruit of your hard labor. So look at that. And you don't need to start big. You can start small. You can start from voluntary work if you've not been in the space. But that doesn't mean that you always have to start from zero.
Yeah.
If you're able
True.
to bring on board transferable skills from maybe the corporate world or like elsewhere.
Okay, so now my other question was, what should like aspiring young leaders and especially women focus on early on in their career?
As I had said earlier, so it's about self-awareness, like knowing your strengths, knowing your passion. So when you are self-aware, you know where you're going, you would easily identify your passions and follow them. Yeah, so that's what I would say.
Okay. Knowing what you and also knowing what you want, right?
Yeah.
Why do I feel like when people start off sometimes, especially that thing of having like a sense of direction, it's like you're a bit experimental, you don't know. And if it takes you longer. Anyway, so when you reflect on your journey for the past like 10 plus years, what moments sort of stand out for you as a milestones in your personal and professional growth?
Let me think. What moments stand out for me? I think the milestones is from the first time when I led the first major project. Of course, as I said earlier, I've been leading from ever since I can remember. But there are those moments like, this is my very first big project. When I led the first project and I was able to like successfully deliver like the final report. It was like, wow. So I can actually do this.
Wow.
It was like a milestone for me. And then another thing was actually adding on to my knowledge, like going for my master's.
Nice.
It wasn't an easy decision because I was actually shifting and learning that as much as I wanted to go into leading just health projects, there were other business aspects that I needed to improve on. So I had to go back to business school to do a master's in business administration. So that was another milestone. Then also getting my certification in human resources,
Nice.
having worked in human resources for quite some time and not having like a certificate to show for it. When I got that certificate, my friend, I was elated. It was like a celebratory period. And then another moment that I can say was a big milestone um, was like leading change in an organization. It's not an easy task.
That's true.
When an organization is in a period of shifting and you have to manage that change. It's not an easy task. So I can say like those are the milestones I can say I'm proud of. Like I can say I'm an organizational leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ish. Okay, look
Yeah.
at you. Oh wow. The sky is the limit for you.
Yeah.
Like you're a mom, you have done all these amazing things for women and girls and your community. You've done your masters. Honestly, I'm awed by your journey.
Thank you.
It's like you're taking the right steps towards the right direction. It's like you literally know what you want and you go for it, and that's very inspiring.
Yeah, and I learned along the way because if you asked me like 5 years ago what I would want for myself, especially further studies, I wouldn't have mentioned specifically this is the field that I'm interested in. So my work has impacted my choices.
Okay.
So like what you work, your everyday challenges, and what you want to learn, to understand, to master. So it affects what you choose. So it's not like knowing the end from the beginning. It's being open-minded. So like looking at assessing where are you and where do you want to go and what will take you there.
I like the way, like, sort of how you've said, like, your work and the things you're passionate about sort of inform your sense of direction.
Yeah, and you have to be open-minded.
Yeah, so and very willing to learn.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes people get stuck, and when you mesema, like, you can even end up pursuing whether it's that master's or a PhD, sometimes for the sake of, oh, I want to be a master's, a postgraduate, whatever, or I want to have a PhD, but then you're not as intentional. So, like, allowing your everyday experiences, the things you're passionate about, to sort of give you that sense of direction. I think it's a really important thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what leadership principle do you hold closest in your everyday work?
For me, what the principle that speaks to my soul the most, I always talk about the soul. I think I'm so emotional. It's about servant leadership. Like I'm not always here to direct or dictate. I listen more. I do it. So I'm a human being, not a human doing. So
Ish.
so it's all about serving the people that I lead and showing them the way. Yeah.
Wow. You should be my boss. Oh my God. That's good. And what legacy do you hope to leave behind through your leadership?
Through my leadership, I'd want people to look at me and say, she changed her life. doesn't have to be many lives. Like she changed her life. Like she made people believe in themselves. That's all I would wish to be known for. I think that would speak directly to the people that I work with. So if I'm able to help somebody become a leader, it's all about, you don't have to be selfish about leadership, because we can all be leaders. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So making a way for others. So
Wow.
and being known for that person who made a way for others, would be a good legacy for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And especially now that you have worked with women and girls, I think we need to hold spaces for more women and girls.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
Wow. Honestly, it's your leadership journey is very inspiring. I feel like you've been this very intentional person, like all the way from day one.
Yeah.
It's like you have always put yourself, like sort of position yourself for, I would say, impact. There is something, a leadership role comes up, or you become a prefect, you're in Girl Guide, you go to uni, you are a leader at church, you take initiative in your work, you have started an ungovernmental a community-based organization, and all these amazing things you are doing. You're also leading your home.
Definitely. You just have to first be a self-leader, lead yourself.
Yeah.
And when you're leading yourself, then others can follow you. Because if you are not able to lead yourself, you cannot organize yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be very organized, by the way, for you to be a leader. If you're not organized, then you will not be able to lead others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, it sounds like a very intentional journey, and I feel like the key takeaways for our listeners is for me, I would say, in my point of view, is position yourself in a way that you can take up space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take up space and put yourself out there and take initiative in everything that you do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is right. You have to be intentional. That's first, and then you also have to be counted. Stand up to be counted.
Yeah.
I know. I'll tell you a very recent story. I think I love stories. A very recent story that even leaders have something to learn.
That's true.
You can't say like you've made it all. I know, I believe in the work that I've done in my leadership. I believe in it. But recently I was at an event, and a question was asked. I knew the answer, and but I doubted myself, and I was like, should I say, should I not? And the speaker was like, stand up and tell us. And I said it across the table, but I was too afraid to stand up and say it, although the speaker could see that I had the answer. So somebody else stood up and said the answer that I said, and it was correct, and she was rewarded.
Hey.
And I was like, oh my God, I always sabotage myself.
You missed out on the reward.
Yeah, it's my answer, but somebody ran with it. But it was, should I say, a painful lesson? But it's not a new lesson. It's a lesson I've learned over and over. But sometimes we as women, we always don't believe ourselves enough. So it taught me to always believe in myself and be confident. Is as much I've always learned that. So it's a lesson that had to repeat itself.
Wow.
Yeah. Openly.
I know. It's like sometimes you have to do this over and over again until it kind of sticks.
Yeah.
Wow. So lastly, what is that one thing you would want people to take away from your experience?
Wow.
Your key takeaway.
My key takeaway about my leadership journey, I would say you need to have values that you stand up for. So for me, I have three main values that I stand up for. So first is empathy. Then the next is consistency. And lastly is creating impact. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Honestly, thank you for making the time and for coming here to share your journey. Honestly, I hope it does inspire somebody out there to take action. And especially for, I feel like for young women, when we have somebody we can look up to and see like the kind of impact you've created along the way, the steps you've taken to get where you are, and how you are still even taking more risks, even going for the things you want to do, and especially even for the PhD you are looking forward to doing. I hope like somebody can see that it's actually possible and take
Yes.
that leap of faith in their own journey. So thank you for sharing your journey with us. We really appreciate you making the time, honestly. Yeah,
You're
it's
welcome.
already midnight, guys, when you're shooting this. Yes, and also when we started the episode, now was like, oh, I've not been on camera for a while. But I think she has done amazing.
Well, okay.
Yeah, so thank you for
Thank you
showing
for
up.
having me.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. So, you are mentoring me in this podcasting journey.
Yes, she wants to start one. Please do.
God willing, I will.
Please, no, I'll follow up. You have to.
One thing you forgot.
Okay.
I'm a believer, a strong believer. I believe in God. In most cases, you'll find me referring to God. Like, if something I cannot have an answer right away, I'm like, just talk to God. And I'm somebody who leaves a lot to for God to intervene. As much as I'm leading,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Wow.
also let God lead me. And I'm a family person. I'm
Wow.
married to one man with two amazing
Oh,
children.
wow.
Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
Oh, look at you. Honestly, I don't even imagine how you do all these. You are working, you're a mom, you're a leader, whether it's a church, everywhere you go, you are just leading. It's truly amazing. And thank you again.
You're welcome.
So, if this episode sparked something in you, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. And also share it with somebody who might be needing some little inspiration. Follow us on all our podcasting platforms at the Spark It Podcasts. Until next time, bye.
Bye.